Good evening, students. Welcome to my channel Smart Codings by Shoykot Banerjee. It includes various concepts of Java programming, notes, and complete solutions of questions for beginners and ICC students. So, today's topic is a bit interesting, and students should know this while learning a programming language because these concepts are very much common for all programming language, which students must know. So, today's topics include call by value and call by reference and their programming examples. So let's start quickly. So first thing is why there is a need to pass values to a function. Yes, we need to pass values to a function, right? So why there is a need to pass values to a function? The main concept behind this is, or the main, we can say the direct answer to this question is to activate the function or to call a function to use it. Suppose you are declaring a function like this. Look in the screen over here. Suppose you have declared a function like this add. It has two formal parameters a and b, but it doesn't have any values, right? It does not have any values. Then what it will calculate? How it will calculate the addition if no values is passed to this function? If no values is passed to the function, how this a and b will calculate? The value of a and b will be calculated inside this method body. So it can't be done without values. So this is the reason to call a function or to activate a function or to use it. So there is a need to pass a values to a function to activate the function or to call a function or to use a function. In this function add, it has two parameters that requires values to get activated. With very clear diagram and programming examples with arrow highlight, I have shown you clearly what is actually happening here. So first slide, I think students it's clear. If not clear, do comment it which section or which part of the topic is not clear. I will be clarifying in the next video series. So understood? To activate the function, to use the function actually, we need to pass values to a function. Then only it will calculate some a and b. Suppose I am passing in a, suppose 5, and in b I am passing 10. Then only it can calculate the addition of this add function, right? This is what is to activate the function. I hope it is clear now. Let us move to the next slide. Now there are different ways to pass values to a function. Call by value, also known as pass by value, and the second one is call by reference or pass by reference. Okay, you can use the name interchangeably. Interchangeably, you can use any name, call by value or pass by value, and in call by reference or pass by reference. Now, before we move on to this concept of passing values to a function, there are some technical terms which you should know, like formal parameters. The parameters described in the method header, which receives the values from its caller method, are called formal parameters. Like you have declared a method header like this: public int add int a, comma int b. Now these are called formal parameters. Inside a method header, the parameters passed or written are called formal parameters. The entire line, this entire line is called method header. So the parameters described in the method header, this entire line is a method header which receives the values from its caller method. Okay, the method from which method it is being called? It is called from the main method. So caller method is the main method, right? Now add method is being called. Now inside this method with method header, that is the add method header, int a and int b are called formal parameters. Clear? Now let us move on to the next topic. Now actual parameters. The values actually passed to the method at the time of its call from main method are called actual parameters. Suppose there is a class called class A. Now this is the method header. Okay, that is int a comma int b. This is the method header. Public int sum int a comma int b. This is the method header, right? Int a and int b are the formal parameters. Now what happens here? Suppose inside this method body is there. something written there. The actual working of the method is in the method body. I have said in the previous videos. Now, what is happening from the main method? I'm creating an object of class A. What is the object name, students? OB. See, A OB equal to new A. OB is created, object of class A. Then, using this object, I'm passing this x and y as actual parameters to the formal parameters. When this method is being called, this is the way to call a method or invoking a method or function using object, because sum is a non-static method. I have repeatedly said that if any method is non-static, it must be called with the help of an object. Okay, so when this line is executed, the this actual parameters are passed here. The actual parameters is x and y at the time of its call. At the time of its call, what call? At the time of its method call. Which method I'm calling? Sum method. So at the time of its method call, this line, you can see the parameter passed are actual parameters, but in the method header, the parameters written are called method. These are called formal parameters. I hope these two terms are clear, very clear. In the method header, if any of the parameters passed, better say in the method header, if any parameters are written, like int a and int b, like here, int type a and b, these are called formal parameters. But at the time of calling the function, this sum function is called here. This sum function is being called here. This x and y are passed here or written here. This x and y are called actual parameters or original parameters. Actual means original values. Now let us move on to the next slide. Calling function. When a method call takes place, the method that has called the another method is called calling method. That means, let us move to the next slide, previous slide. Suppose sum is a method, and from which this method is called from which method? From main method. So from the main method, all the methods are called. From the main method, all the user defined methods are called. So main method is a calling method. Okay. So when method call takes place, the method that has called the another method is called calling method. This is one term, calling method or calling function. And called method, which method is called? That sum method is called. Here in the previous slide, wait. The method that is called by another method is called called method, meaning this sum method is being called from main method. Sum method is a called method, and which method is calling this sum method? From main method. So main method is a calling method. Got it? Now these terms are clear. Now main method. All programs contain a main method. That is called a main method, which is considered to be the controlling method. A Java program is said to begin with a main method because it is the entry point of the compiler section or a compiler. It is the entry point of the compiler because that's why a Java programs needs to be start from a main method. Clear? So actual parameters, formal parameters, calling function, called methods, and main method. I think these terms are clear to you first before we move on to the concept called call by value. Clear? Now any students, I request you, it's my earnest request, if any doubt in any topic, I'm ready to help you in this open source platform, but I want you to comment it which part of the topic you have the doubt. Go through these videos, pause the videos, watch it multiple times, again watch it multiple times, pause it and watch it multiple times. Any doubt, any issue, any problem, any difficulty in understanding, please do comment in the YouTube comment section. You can comment it in the YouTube comment section. and can ask or can interact with your teacher or with me, so that I can understand your doubts. If the session is interactive, it will be much helpful for me to understand the problem of students. Where is the difficulty level, where you are not understanding? I should know that, right? Now the main concept is pass by value. First method is first way to pass values to a function is pass by value. So what is pass by value? The definition: it is a process of passing of actual parameters, that is the original value. Actual means original value, to the formal parameters. This is the first definition. Along with the definition, we have to write. You can write two more points. This is the second important points. Any change made in the formal parameters will not impact the actual parameters, original parameters. Now the last point is, it is also called call by value. In the book it is written pass by value. It is also called call by value. So these are the 3 points you should keep in mind, or these are the special notes given to you for the exams. Those who are learning Java for beginners and for ICSE students, and those who want to learn Java programming, these are the basic simple concepts which you should learn before going to the higher level, right? So pass by value is the first way or first method to pass a value to a function or method. There are two ways to pass values to a method. First is pass by value or call by value, and second is pass by reference or call by reference, that I will teach you in the next slide or in the upcoming slide. So I think it is clear. Let us see an example of this concept. See what is happening here. I have declared one class over here that is called method demo. In the method header, what is happening? Displays a method name. Two things are written here. These parameters are formal parameters, as I have said. Now this is the method body, and it is printing a and b values over here. This is the method body, starts here, ends here. Clear? Now for the main method, there are two more variables, x and y. This will act as the actual parameter. Now what we are doing here is, we are creating an object of method demo class. As you can see here, we're creating an object of method demo class here. OB is the method object of method demo class. Now we are calling this display method using object, because display is a non-static method. See, static is not written here, non-static method. So using this object, we are calling this method, and we are passing this x and y here. When this line is executed, copy, a Xerox copy of x and y is being passed to a and b. Original value is not passed. Copy of x and y, that is 5 and 10, is being passed here, right? So now when the program control jumps here, it will go inside the method body here. What it will do? Value of a was x is passed, that is 5 is passed over a. So 5 plus 1, it is 6, and 10 plus 1 is 11 in b. So some changes we are doing here in the formal, right? So it will not impact in the actual, because we are sending, or in this mechanism, the original values are not passed here. Original x and y are not passed here. Copy of that x and y value is being passed to the formal parameters. It's like a teacher having original notes, and students are asking for the notes from a teacher. What the teacher is doing? Teacher is giving the Xerox copy of the note to the students. So if the students damage the notes, it will not impact the original notes. It's like, take an example like this. Suppose I am giving you the original, instead of giving the original notes, I am giving to you students a Xerox copy of the notes. So if you hamper that notes, it will not impact the original notes. So if any changes made over in the formal here, this is a Xerox here, a and b, formal parameters, and this is x and y original. Any change made here will not impact here. So value of the formal parameters changed 6 and 11. It got the value 5 and 10 here by passing the Xerox. Now we are doing plus 1 here, changing here. It is 6 and 11, but the actual remains the same, 5 and 10. See the output? I hope it is clear. Now why this is happening? Because I will put a diagrammatic representation in the next slide. See, A and B are the formal parameters. They are primitive data types, and X and Y also primitive. So what happens is, all the primitive data types and the reference variable. Primitive data types and reference variable are stored in stack memory. Let us see here, students. In the stack memory, you don't need to know about detail of stack memory. Just know that reference variable and primitive data types are stored in stack memory, and all the objects are stored in heap memory. This much you understand first. A and B are primitive data types stored. These are the formal parameters. A and B. A and B are formal parameters, are stored in stack memory. Okay, so some changes has been done in the A and B by plus 1 and plus 1, that is 6 and 11. And the actual parameter X and Y are also declared in the stack memory, but separately. So any change made here will not impact this, because A and B and X and Y, formal and actual, are declared in the stack memory separately. This word separately is very important here. In the stack memory, all the primitives are stored, formal and actual, but they are declared separately. That's why any changes made in A and B will not impact X and Y. I hope it is clear. If any doubt, do comment in the YouTube comment section. Once you view the videos, view it completely so that you can understand the topic, students. Very important concepts for board exams and for beginners who want to learn programmings. And these are the universal concepts. Now next topic is pass by reference. In this, what happens? We pass the address of the actual parameters to the formal parameters. So any change made in the formal parameters will impact the original parameters. This is the main difference. It is also called call by reference. Now actual and formal parameters share the same memory location. That is why any change made in the formal parameters will affect the actual parameters. That means original notes the teacher is giving to the students. So if the student hamper the notes, teacher has nothing to do. This is the general example relating to the concept of pass by reference. Now see the program over here in the next slide. Suppose int x, first class rectangle, then int x is a instance variable that is having value 10. Now there is a function called modify, where I am passing an object type reference here. See, rectangle is class type. So rectangle R2 means R2 is a reference type. R2 is a what type? Reference type means class type. That is an object type. Class type is object type here. So R2 is object type. So R2.x having what value? 10. Okay. Now in this modify method body, we are changing the value of that is R2.x. That is, we are adding plus 10, that is 20 it will become. This function is changing the value of R2.x. Clear? Now from the main method, we are creating a reference variable R1, and we are printing the value of R1.x. So before calling this modify method, the value of R1.x will be what? 10. Now after calling this method, the R1.x will become 20. So any change, see, R2 here is formal parameter and R1 is suppose actual parameter. Now we are passing, see here, reference type object to here. So what happens when this line is created? See, look here in the diagrammatic representations. I have told you in the previous slide that reference variable and primitive data types are created in the stack memory. So when this line is executed or created, rectangle R1 equal to new rectangle, R1 is a reference variable. It is created in the stack memory. See, in the stack, this part is stack memory. R1 is, when this R1 reference variable is created, it is pointing to some object, suppose D1 in the heap memory. Let us take this example. D1 is an object, suppose in the heap memory. This R1 is pointing to the D1 in the heap memory. D1 is an object. Now, what happens here is, now see, when we are calling this function modify R1 and passing R1 to here in the formal here we have passed what in the method header? Object as a reference. That is, R2 is a reference. what it does in the diagram, as R2 is a reference variable, it is also created in the stack memory. It is also pointing to the same object here, that is D1. So as these two reference variable are pointing to the same object here, any change made here in the object will impact both. So R1 and R2 pointing to the same memory location. That's why any change made in R2.x will impact R1.x. What we are doing in the program over here, we are changing by this modify method. We are changing the value of R2.x by adding 10. So before calling, the actual parameters what R1 having value what 10. It was 10 only before calling this modify function. But after calling this method, the value will become 20 because R1 and R2 is pointed to the same memory location here in the heap memory. I hope it is clear. If this video is useful to you or for you, please like, comment and subscribe, and do ask your doubts or by writing your own comments in the YouTube comment section. Thank you, students. Take care.